In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this cute heart-shaped dish scrubby with this cute lacy white trim around the edges. And I did show you how to make this heart-shaped scrubby in a previous tutorial that I did before. And that, if you would like to see that tutorial, go ahead and click on the iCard in the corner. And that will bring you directly to the tutorial where I show you how to make this heart-shaped scrubby. And the reason why I'm doing this tutorial again is this time I'm going to include a nice little white trim that looks like a lacy edging. And it reminds me of those heart-shaped boxes you would get for Valentine's Day filled with chocolates. I think it looks just adorable. And the reason why I'm doing the tutorial again is one of my subscribers have left a comment that they would love to see this with the second color. And I thought that was a great idea, and they thought it would look nice with a white trim, and I definitely agreed with that. It looks really cute. I think it looks just adorable. So if you'd like to learn how to make this heart-shaped scrubby along with that nice white edging, go ahead and join me in this tutorial today and I will show you how to make it. This heart-shaped scrubby, I did it the same way I did this one, where I make two hearts, connect them together so that way it's a double thick scrubby, and then I made this lacy white trim around the edges. And I wanted to show you the different variations you can do and the different options with this. So to do the hearts, I did use the entire width of the 6-inch tool spool, so I didn't have to cut it. I just crocheted the hearts with that, the whole width. And we are going to go ahead and create one in pink today. And this is a nice bright, darker pink. You could also make it in a light pink if you like that, or red like these other ones. And then I had the white tool, and what I did is, if you look at these ones on this side, you can see that the trim looks bigger than the trim on these two. And that is because with these, I did these with 3-inch wide strips of white. So I took my tool spool and I cut it in half, the strips, so that was 3 inches in width. So you just eyeball it and cut it in half, and then that gives you the 3-inch strips. And then I did the trim there, so that's a larger trim there. So if you like it like that, use the 3-inch strips. Now for this, what I did is I cut it into 3 sections, and since this is 6 inches wide, if you cut it into 3 sections, then they're 2-inch strips. So that's what I did here. So you can see that the 2-inch strips, the trim is not going to be quite as pronounced or as big. So if you like this, then use the 2-inch strips. I like both of them. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make the pink one with 2-inch wide strips for the trim. So I'm going to use the whole width of this pink to create the hearts, and we're going to make 2, just like this one. And then we're going to use the 2-inch wide strips of white to create the trim. So it's going to look more like this one. But if you like the larger trim, use the 3-inch. And that's how that will look. So I just wanted to show you how just making some slight changes, how you can get a different look. Because, you know, everyone has their own preference, so whatever you like is what you should make. And this here, I wanted to show you this because this is where you put 2 of them together. So it's double thick. So, and this one was also 2 of them together, so it's also, you know, double thick as well. And then this one, what I did is I only made 1 heart. So, because some people, they don't like the really thick scrubbies. So, if you prefer a thinner scrubby, then you just make 1 heart, and then you do your trim. So it's just a matter of preference. If you want it to be double thick, make 2 hearts, put them together, or just make the single one. And I did this a little different because when we connected these hearts, we went around and did a slip stitch working in the back loops only of the 2 hearts sandwiched together. With this one, since we're not sandwiching it together, after I finished making it, I then went around and did slip stitches all the way around to make a nice little finished edging. And it also helps, like, because when you first finish it, it kind of curls up a little bit. So this helps flatten it down and make it look really nice. And then I went ahead and put the trim. So that's the only difference, since we're not connecting 2. Just do a slip stitch all the way around the edge to give it a nice finished look. So if you like it a thinner scrubby, then that's just perfect. So today I am going to go ahead and show you this one in hot pink, and I'm going to do the trim more like this one because we're going to use the 2-inch strips. It's basically the same thing though. It's the same stitches, just a different thickness. So I hope that you will join me in the tutorial today, and I will show you how to make it. Okay, so let's go ahead and set these off to the side. And now I am going to go ahead and begin with the pink tool. And we're not going to cut the strips. We're just going to go ahead and begin crocheting with the whole width. And of course, you know, I like to have, I showed you this in my previous tutorial where I like to put my tool into this little basket. That way it doesn't roll onto the floor while I crochet along. And that's just the perfect size. It fits perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and begin with that. And I'm going to begin with a size J or 10 6mm crochet hook for the heart. And you are going to want a smaller crochet hook to work the trim. So I'm going to be using a size D or 3.125mm crochet hook. And that's how we're going to do the trim. So you'll need 2 sizes of the crochet hook. And then after we're done, we will need one of these little crochet darning needles to sew in any loose ends or threads at the end, loose tails. So let's go ahead and begin. And of course you'll need a pair of scissors to cut the tails and fasten off. So now I'm going to go ahead and begin with a magic circle. So to make our magic circle, I'm going to start with the tail down towards the table surface. It's pointing down towards the floor. If you actually start with it pointing up towards the ceiling, it actually won't adjust properly when you're done. So you always want to begin with the tail downward. So go ahead and wrap that around and make an X mark on the top of your fingers. And then take your crochet hook with the hook facing down. Insert it underneath that X mark here. Grab that tool right in front. Pull it underneath. So you can see now I have it underneath that X mark there. And then I'm going to twist it as I bring it to the top. And then I'm going to insert the hook underneath that strand there and pull a loop through. Okay, so that is our magic circle. So in the tutorial where I showed you how to make this heart-shaped scrubby, what we did is we did a chain 2 and then we did 11 double crochets because we counted the chain 2 as a double crochet. But actually I find you can do that, but I think it looks nicer if we do not count that first chain 2 as a double crochet, because what happens is then that stitch is too thin. It's not the same width of the double crochets, so I think it just doesn't look as nice. So that's the only change I'm going to make in this, is when we do the heart, is I'm just not going to count the first chain 2 as a stitch. So I mean, you can do it that way if you want, but I think it looks nicer if we do not count it. So let's go ahead, and we already have that loop when we did that, so I'm just going to do chain 1. Okay, since we already had that loop, so that's essentially 2 loops there. And I'm not going to count this as a stitch. So now we're going to do 12 double crochets into the center of our magic ring. That's 1, 2, oops, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, oops, 11, oops, 11, and 12. Okay, so I'm going to count my stitches and make sure that I do in fact have 12 double crochets before I continue on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright, perfect. So now I'm going to pull the tail of my magic circle or magic ring so I can bring those stitches closer together so I can do a slip stitch into that first double crochet that we did to form a circle. Okay, so there we go. Now, to begin round 2, and each heart that we're going to do only takes 2 rounds to complete, so it's very easy and very quick. So let's go ahead and chain 3. It's 1, 2, 3. And that chain 3 will count as a treble crochet. So now we want to do a double treble crochet. Okay, so now we want to wrap the tulle 3 times and then insert it into that same stitch and work our double treble crochet. So we're going to do tulle over, pull it through the first 2 loops, leaving these last 3 still on our hook. Because you can see we have 5 loops here. So we're going to do that tulle over, pull through the first 2, leaving the last 3 still on. And then you'll have 4 loops. Do the tulle over again, pull it through these first 2, leaving the last 2 still on the hook. And then you see you have 3 left. Do a tulle over, pull it through the first 2, leaving this last one still on the hook. And then you'll do tulle over and pull through the last 2, and that completes your double treble crochet. So now we're going to do a treble crochet into that same stitch. So we're going to wrap it 2 times, insert it into that same stitch, and then we'll work our treble crochet. Okay, so now into the next stitch we are going to work 2 stitches, and that's going to be a double crochet and a half double crochet. So that was 2 stitches, a double crochet, and a half double crochet. Into the next stitch we're going to do 2 half double crochets, and then into this stitch we're going to also do 2 stitches, and that is going to be a double crochet and a treble crochet. So that's wrapping the tulle twice, insert it into that same stitch. So to review that one, we did 2 stitches, it was a double crochet and 1 treble crochet. So now into the next stitch we are also going to do 2 stitches, and those will be 2 treble crochets. So we wrap the yarn twice, insert it into that stitch. Okay, we're going to do a second treble crochet into that same stitch. Oops, there we go. And then into the next stitch we're actually going to work 3 stitches. So we're going to do 2 treble crochets and 1 double crochet all into the same stitch. So here we go. 1 treble crochet. And here comes the second treble crochet. And then a double crochet into that same stitch. So that was 3 stitches, all into the same. That was 2 treble crochets and 1 double. And now we want to chain 1, and then we're going to do a slip stitch into that next stitch. And there you have your first half of your heart shape. So now we want to do a chain 1, because we want to do exactly what we did on this side to mirror exactly what we did. That way it will look the same on both sides. So we did a chain 1 there, and let's go ahead and do a double crochet into the next stitch here, and then 2 treble crochets. Okay, that's 1 treble crochet. Now let's do our second treble crochet into that same stitch. Okay, so you can see we did 3 stitches, a double crochet and 2 treble crochets. Okay, into the next stitch we're going to do 2 stitches, and they will be 2 treble crochets. So wrap the yarn twice, insert it into the stitch, and work your treble crochet, and then wrap the yarn twice and work the second treble crochet into that same stitch. And then the next stitch will have 2 stitches. It will be 1 double crochet and 1/2 double crochet. And there's the half. Okay, and the next stitch we'll do 2 half double crochets. And then in the next stitch we're going to do 2 stitches as well. You're going to work a half double crochet and a double crochet. And then you want to join with a slip stitch to the top of that chain 3. Or you can join it, do a slip stitch into that top of that double treble. Either one will work. So I'm going to actually put it there because it actually, to me, looks a little bit nicer to do it that way. Okay, so now I'm going to cut a tail here so we can fasten off. And then I'm just going to do tool over and pull that through. Give it a tug, tighten that down. And then we are ready to weave in these tails. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull that tail for the magic circle to close it up as small as I possibly can. And then I'm going to weave these tails in. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. And just want to kind of twist the tool so you can fit it through your crochet needle. And you want to get one with a pretty good size. I want to make sure it's kind of big so that it will fit the tool because it's definitely wider than yarn. And then we just want to kind of weave it along, hide it in the stitches to hide the tails. Okay, and then we want to weave in this tail as well. And we want to weave it in towards this other tail so we can kind of tie them together a couple of times. Let me go ahead and get this one here. Okay, I'm going to weave that in. I'm going to work this towards that tail so we can tie it together. And this is the back side, so you're not going to see this one. So you're not going to see this side when we sandwich the two together, so you won't see these tails that are tied together. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and tie those a few times because I don't want it to unravel. Okay, let me tie it one more time. And then I'm going to cut these tails. You don't want to cut it right next to the knot. You want to leave a little room, because if you do that, it'll just come undone on you. You don't want that. Alright, now what we need to do is we need to create a second heart, so that way we can connect them together to make it a double thickness. Now if you did not want to do that and you wanted to make it like this one, where it's just one side and not two, then you can definitely stop here and then you would just do slip stitches all the way around to give it that nice little edge that kind of is right here. That's because I did slip stitches. And then we can work the trim. So if you want to do it like that, then you definitely don't need to make a second one. But if you do want to follow along making this one today, then go ahead and make a second one. And when you're done with the second one, meet me back here and I will show you how to put them together. Okay, I'm back and I have finished my second heart. So now that we have to, and I wove in the tails already, so now that I have both hearts, we are ready to put them together. And these are going to be the right sides and these are the wrong sides. So we're going to put the wrong sides together just like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do a slip knot with the white tool. And I'm going to insert my J hook right back into that slip knot. I've inserted my J hook into the back loops only, and we're going to do tulle over, pull it through, and you see I have 2 loops. And we're going to connect this around with single crochets. So then we're going to do tulle over, pull it through both loops. Okay, so insert your hook into the back loops only. So the back loop of the front one and the back loop of the one behind it. And then do tulle over, pull that through, and then you'll have 2 loops, tulle over, and do a single crochet. So we're not going to do slip stitches, we're going to do single crochets to connect them together. And then go ahead and insert your hook into the back loops only, tulle over, pull it through until you have your 2 loops, tulle over, and do a single crochet. Okay, do that again. Single crochet, back loops, and then a single crochet. Get some more tulle here. Okay. And then here we're going to do a slip stitch, because here's where the heart dips down and we don't want to lose that heart shape, so I'm going to do a slip stitch into this next one. So I'm going to get the back loops and do a slip stitch right in there, and then I'm going to do a slip stitch into the next set, into the next one. Okay, and then insert your hook into the back loops of the 2 hearts, tulle over, pull it through until you have 2 loops, and do a single crochet. Oops. Tulle over, and pull that through until you have your 2 loops, and do a single crochet. So right in the center we did 2 slip stitches, but the rest here, that was the single crochet. And we're going to continue to do single crochets, connect them together until we get down to the point where the double treble crochet is. We're going to do something a little bit different, because we wanted to make sure it retains that point at the end of the heart at the bottom. Okay, so we're going to continue around connecting it with single crochets. Okay, working in the back loops, single crochet, because when I did the other heart without the edging, we didn't do single crochets to connect them, we did slip stitches. We worked in the back loops only, just like we're doing here, where we picked up just the back loops of the front and the back heart. And in this one, because we used the same color, we did slip stitches, but this is a little different. We're doing single crochets because we want to have some stitches to work in these little lacy edges here. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue with the single crochets. Until we get to that bottom where the point is, where that double treble crochet is. We're just going to do single crochets till we get to that point. Back loops only. Okay, there's the back loop there. Okay. Making sure I'm just picking up the back loops because it keeps wanting to pick up that both loops on there. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that double treble crochet is going to be here. So we have one more that we do a single crochet in. Okay, so now we're at the point where we have that double treble crochet. So go ahead and insert your hook into the back loop of that one and the back loop of the one behind it. And we're going to do a single crochet and then the chain 1, and then a single crochet back into that stitch, into the back loops only. Okay, so there we go. That was the difference. So a single crochet, a chain 1, and a single crochet all in that same stitch, working in the back loops only. Okay, so now we're going to continue around doing single crochets, working in just the back loops. Oops, that was a slip stitch. It's supposed to be a single crochet. There we go. Try to get that back loop there. Okay, single crochets, working in the back loops. Oops. There we go. That's just the back loop. Okay, got it. Because it wanted to pick up both loops. Alright, there we go. Keep working all the way around. We're almost done. We're almost done with this round. And then we'll start working on the lacy part. So it just takes 2 rounds. Do the first round where we connect the 2 hearts together with a single crochets. And then we'll do the second round. So there's just 2 rounds of the white. And then that already has a stitch in it, so I'm just going to do a slip stitch here to that one, the first one that we did. And it's a little tight, that stitch, so I'm just going to try on the hook. Sometimes it helps grab it. And then do a slip stitch to that one. Okay, so that is the first round where we connected them together. Now we're ready to begin this trim for the second round. So we're going to be switching to the smaller crochet hook now. So we're going to switch to a size D or 3, 3.125 millimeter crochet hook. So it's a pretty small crochet hook, but I think it makes it really pretty. Because, you know, we want the lace to look dainty and thin. We don't want it to be real heavy and bulky, because we want it to look like a lacy trim. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to chain 2. And then single crochet right into that same stitch. And then you're going to do a chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Single crochet into the same stitch. And then you're going to do chain 2. 1, 2. Single crochet right back into that same stitch. Okay, so that is how you do that group right into that same stitch. All of that was into one stitch. Now, the next stitch is a little different. We're going to do a single crochet, okay, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then single crochet right back into that same stitch. Okay, so the next stitch we're going to work like that first one. So we're going to do a single crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, single crochet right back into the same stitch, and then we're going to do chain 3. Okay, that one got tangled up, so I'm going to redo that one. Okay, so for the stitch, same as the first one, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet right back into the same stitch, then chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then single crochet right back into the same stitch, and then chain 2. Single crochet right back into that same stitch. Okay, so the next stitch we're going to work like this one. So we're going to do a single crochet, and then chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Single crochet right back into the same stitch. Okay, so for the next one, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet into the same stitch, and then chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Single crochet right back into the same stitch, chain 2, and then single crochet right back in to the same stitch. So now we're here where it kind of dips down. So go ahead and do a slip stitch here, and then a slip stitch into that next one that's in the middle here, right here. So that was that because we did 2 slip stitches, so we're doing slip stitches into those stitches from the previous round. And then we want to work our lacy trim again. So into the next stitch, you're going to do a single crochet, 2, single crochet right back into the same stitch, and then chain 3. 1, 2, 3, single crochet right back into that same one, and then chain 2, and single crochet right back in to that same stitch. So you can see there's a pattern here. It's basically, we're alternating between stitches. So the first stitch has the larger group of stitches, and then the smaller group. The larger and then the smaller. So this one here, just to recap what we're doing in each stitch, in this one that has a larger group of stitches, you single crochet into the stitch, then you chain 2, single crochet right back into the stitch, chain 3, single crochet back into the stitch, chain 2, and then single crochet back into that same stitch. So all of that was in one stitch. And then the stitches in between those larger clusters of stitches, it's a single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. And we're just going to alternate all the way around. Now when we get to the point, we're going to do something a little bit different. It's going to be similar but be different because we want it to stand out a little bit, that, you know, that pointed edge of the heart at the bottom. So let's go ahead and begin again. So that was the larger group of stitches. So this one we're going to do single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet right back into that same stitch. Okay, and then the next stitch, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet right back in to that stitch, and then you're going to do a chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet right back into the same stitch, and then chain 2, 1, 2, single crochet right back into the same stitch. So you can see our little lacy trim, really cute. Okay, so that was the larger group of stitches. So this one is going to be the smaller one, where we do a single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet back into that same stitch. So one stitch has quite a few stitches, and then it has less. Then we just alternate between those 2. Okay, so this one's going to be starting off with a single crochet into the stitch, chain 2, single crochet right back into the same stitch, then we'll chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet right back into the same stitch, and then chain 2, 1, 2, single crochet right back into that same stitch. So there's that larger group or cluster of stitches. So we're just alternating basically the same all the way around until we get to the point. And sometimes when you get to this down here, the stitches get too close together, so you might need to do a slip stitch, and I'll show you that when we get to that point. Okay, so that was the larger group of stitches. So this one is going to be single crochet into the stitch, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet right back in to that same stitch. Okay, and then the next stitch, start with a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet right back into that same stitch, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet right back into that same one, chain 2, and single crochet right back into the stitch. Okay, so we're going to keep working all the way around. Okay, and this one is going to be single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet into the same stitch. And then see, here it's starting to get too bunchy. So if I put a large one here, it's going to kind of get too bunchy. So I'm going to put a slip stitch right here. You can kind of tell, like, if you did another large grouping, it would kind of like be too close together. So just, this is where I'm going to do the slip stitch. So now here we did the smaller group of stitches where we did the single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. So this one's going to be the single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet, all into the same stitch. So let's do that. Single crochet, chain 2, single crochet right back into that stitch. I'm going to do a chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet into the same, chain 2, and single crochet right back in there. And then this one we're going to do single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet back into the stitch. Okay, and then here, this is where that double treble crochet is. We did the single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. So there's 2 more stitches before that. So what we're going to do here is the larger group of stitches. So we're going to go ahead, single crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, single crochet right back into that stitch, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet into the same stitch again, and chain 2, and then single crochet right back into that stitch. So you can see there's one more stitch before we get to where that chain 1 was at the point where the double treble is. So we don't actually want to work a stitch in there because we want to make sure that that kind of stands out where that point is. So we want to do a slip stitch here. Okay. So we did a slip stitch into that stitch, and now this is where that chain 1 space is. So there's 2 single crochets into the stitch and a chain 1 in between. So that's where the point is going to be. So we're going to do something slightly different. We're going to do a single crochet and then chain 2, 1, 2, single crochet into that same stitch, and then normally we would do a chain 3, but we're going to do a chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, single crochet right back into that same stitch, which is the chain 1 space, and then chain 2, and then single crochet right back into that chain 1 space. And there is your large group of stitches, just like we did these other ones, except for we did a chain 4 here, where we did the chain 3 right in the center, which looks like, you know, picot stitches basically. Alright, so let's keep working around. So over here, just before we did this, we did a slip stitch. So let's go ahead and do a slip stitch in that one, just so it's the same. So we're going to do a slip stitch right there. And then the next one, we did a large group of stitches. So let's go ahead and do that on this side so it looks the same. So single crochet into the stitch, chain 2, single crochet right back into that same one. We'll chain 3. 1, 2, 3, single crochet right back in to that same stitch, and we're going to chain 2, then single crochet right back into that same one. Oops, it looks like it got a little tangled there, so I'm going to unravel that last one. Actually, I'll just unravel a little bit further so you can, I'll start it over again so you don't, because it might be confusing where I'm at on this stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and begin this stitch again. Okay, so that was that point where we worked in the chain 1 space here, and then we did a slip stitch in the one next to it, and then we worked the larger cluster of stitches into here. So we'll start with a single crochet into this stitch, then chain 2, 1, 2, single crochet right back into that same one, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet right back into that same one, then chain 2, and single crochet right back into that same stitch. Okay, so we're just working all the way around. And then the next one, you can see we did that chain 3, the single crochet, chain 3, single crochet. So do a single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet right back into the same stitch. So that mirrors that one over here. See? So then you do your large group here. And then we did like a slip stitch right in between those two. Okay, so we're going to do the large group. Okay, so that's the small group right here, and then the larger one. So let's do that. Single crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, single crochet right back into the same stitch there. Then we're going to do chain 3. 1, 2, 3, single crochet into the same stitch again. Then we're going to chain 2. 1, 2, and single crochet right back into that one. And then let's do a slip stitch right in here, because now you'll see we're going to have the smaller group here and the larger group, and then we'll be right back here. So the small one, the large, and the small. Into this one, we're going to do a single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet right back into the same stitch, and then we're going to do single crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, single crochet into the same stitch, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet right back into that same stitch, and then chain 2, 1, 2, single crochet right into that same stitch. And then we have one more here to work. And this is going to be a single crochet into that stitch, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet right back into that same stitch. This tool can be tricky, it's getting tangled here, so let me unravel. Okay, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet right back into that same stitch. And you can see we worked all the way around with our lacy trim, so we're ready to fasten off. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a tail right there, and then do tulle over. Actually, before we do that, we kind of want to insert the hook down here to do a slip stitch first, and then pull that through the loop and give it a tug to fasten off. So we have completed our adorable heart scrubby with the nice little lacy trim. So all you need to do now is just weave in your tails, and I'll show you how I do that. Go ahead and feed that through the eye of the crochet hook or crochet needle, and then you just want to make sure that when you weave it, you kind of go underneath those stitches there to hide the tail, like right there. And pull that through to weave to hide that tail. So let's do that a little further so it doesn't unravel and just go underneath those stitches. Okay, and then that one I'm going to cut now. And do the same thing with this one. Okay, so I'm going to go this direction now since I went that way. So first I need to bring it to the front. Okay, and then just feed it underneath those stitches. Oops. Just go ahead and weave it in a few more. Alright, now I can go ahead and cut that tail there. Okay, so we have finished our heart-shaped scrubby with the lacy white trim. Definitely reminds me of those Valentine heart-shaped boxes full of chocolates. I hope that you enjoyed the tutorial today. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. I hope that you will subscribe. That way you'll get notified the next time I upload a tutorial. And until then, happy crocheting. Have a great day.